Hi friends, Miss Joy from the J.C. Ralston Arboretum. Welcome to Garden Storytime. I have kind of a different story for us today. I know things are changing and a lot of you are maybe back to school or maybe you're doing school on a computer in your house. Well, our story today is called Out of School and Into Nature, and it's the story of Anna Comstock. Now, Anna was a woman who lived a long time ago, way back at the turn of the century. She was born in the 1850s and she lived till about 1930. She ended up being a professor at Cornell University, and she has a lot to teach us about how a classroom doesn't have to be just in a school, but it can be right outside our back door. So join us for the story, and then we'll come back and do a few activities together, some ideas of things that you can do right outside in your own backyard.
Out of School and Into Nature, the Anna Comstock story, written by Susanna Slade and illustrated by Jessica Lanham. From the time she was no higher than a daisy, Anna was wild about nature. She loved to hold it close in her fingers. She wanted to feel it squish between her toes, which was why she ran barefoot all summer long, raised slimy tadpoles into pet toads, and climbed tall trees instead of sitting in their shade. Sometimes Anna just sat watching. That's how she discovered nature's secrets. Leafy moths demonstrated the art of camouflage, fuzzy bees showed her pollination, and marching ants explained all about teamwork. Through the years, Anna grew like a sunflower. So did her love of nature. Her mother taught her the names of wildflowers dancing in the meadow. At night, she whispered the names of the constellations twinkling in the velvety black sky. Back then, girls were supposed to get married after high school, but Anna's heart belonged to her first love, nature, so she took off for college to learn more of its secrets. Anna studied plants and insects she'd never seen before. The more she learned, the more she wanted to share her discoveries. So she began to draw, slowly, carefully. Her bugs looked so real they almost crawled right off the paper. Amazed by her art, a professor started using her pictures during his lectures. Farmers studied her detailed sketches to identify hungry bugs stealing their crops. Yet Anna dreamed of creating even more realistic pictures, so she started carving fine lines into a block of wood. When she rolled ink over her engraving and pressed paper on top, magic! A beautiful print appeared. Each one was breathtaking. Anna was a fine artist, but she was a scientist too. Peering through her microscope, she studied delicate wings, legs, and antennae to create her art. In her day, most people thought men belonged in science, not women. Anna thought they were as nutty as an oak tree. So she kept on researching and drawing. She created illustrations for an insect book so others could learn about these tiny creatures. In time, she became a nature expert. Then one day, Anna made a surprising discovery. While visiting nearby schools, she realized they didn't have any nature classes. In fact, most New York schools weren't teaching about nature. It seemed other subjects were more important, like reading, writing, and math. Anna knew this needed to change, and fast. So she decided to start by teaching the teachers. Anna grabbed her pen and wrote lessons about nature's marvelous mysteries. Caterpillars changing into graceful butterflies. Water freezing into six-sided snowflakes. Trees turning rain and sunlight into sweet sap. Her lessons captivated curious teachers. Soon, nature classes sprouted up in schools everywhere. But Anna believed children should experience nature too. They needed to hold it close in their fingers, feel it squish between their toes. Then nature itself could teach children. So Anna asked teachers to take their classes outside. People thought she was crazy. Didn't she know school rules? Students learn inside. Students play outside. Determined, Anna didn't give up. She wanted children to become passionate about wildlife, to take care of the environment. Finally, several schools agreed. Notebooks in hand, students tromped through forests and fields. Fascinated by the wonders around them, they stopped and sat watching. That's how they discovered nature's secrets. Spiders spinning sticky webs. Brown bats snoozing upside down. Tadpoles sprouting stubby legs. And the children became wild about nature. News of Anna's outdoor study spread faster than dandelion seeds on a windy day. Soon, classes across New York, across the country, headed outside. Because Anna changed the rules, children realized how all living things are connected, unique, important, and they wanted to learn more. So Anna decided to create books about nature. Year after year, she wrote, she drew. But she always made time for her first love, nature. Anna held it close in her fingers, felt it squish between her toes until her very last days.
How many petals are on there? 5. Okay, let's take that one. You want to put that in our bucket? Okay. What else do you notice about this plant? Smell your fingers. It smells so good. Can you pet it? Things they're interested in. So this is Bill. Look at them all. Yes. I'll put those in there. Well, that was a good story, wasn't it? It was kind of interesting to learn about Anna Comstock. Do you remember in the story that she began to write lessons? Do you want to see Anna's book? Here it is. Look how big it is. And it is full of interesting things that Anna learned about nature. She has drawings in here. She has lessons. It is just a fascinating book. It's called The Handbook of Nature Study. And it's been around for a long time. And if there's any teachers or parents that are looking for some great nature study ideas, I recommend this book. It's one of my favorites. So we went on a little walk outside. I went with the neighbor kids and we had some fun picking out some things. Just to bring nature inside a little bit, here are some of the things you can do, a couple ideas. So I just had the kids take a walk with me and they found some really interesting objects. There's lots of mushrooms out and about right now because it's been so wet here lately. Here's an interesting, there's a pine cone that Peter liked. And then what I'm doing is I'm just bringing them all inside and kind of making a little nature study plate. And maybe you could find a special spot at home where you're going to put things, your discoveries, things that you're going to observe and look at for a few days. And then when you get tired of looking at these things, you can go out and find something else new. I loved this piece of bark. It's got so many different colors of green on it. It's really interesting and very textural. And then We even found some little tiny flowers to put on. So, it's as simple as just taking a walk and taking the time to look at colors and shapes and sizes, to count the petals on a flower, to just enjoy the beautiful things that are all around you in your neighborhood. You might bring home some flowers that you just float in a little jar of water. Here we picked some succulents that were growing out in the garden. And now I'm gonna go ahead and, this is another idea. You can pull some of the lower leaves off of a succulent like this. And then, so I'm just gonna get rid of those. I'm just gonna put that in a little vase of water. And I did that with these succulents a long time ago, and look at the roots that are growing. These can actually be replanted out in the garden or in a pot for inside. As long as they get light and air, they are gonna keep growing. So that's kind of a fun thing you can do. See what things you can propagate at home. Now not everything is gonna regrow, grow a root so that you can plant it. But this is one idea that the kids could do, and be kind of interesting to watch those roots grow and develop. Of course, whenever you're at the beach, I like almost always come home with a tray full of seashells. Those are fun to collect. But just like you collect seashells, there's things to collect all around your yard. Leaves of different shapes, sizes, and colors. Have them kids look at comparing those colors and comparing the shapes. Even the leaves that are jagged, there's some leaves that are jagged on the edge. Other leaves are smooth. It's really fascinating to look at. This one is actually kind of thick and rubbery from the succulent. Making observations, that's what Anna taught us, was to open our eyes and really see what is out there, out in nature. One way you can make closer observations and force your brain to think more about exactly what it is you're seeing is not just to look at it, but to look at it and then also try to draw it. One idea is to keep nature journals, and I've got some examples over here I'll show you a few close-ups of. The idea is not to become an artist. The idea is to sharpen your eye so that you're really seeing the shape of things and the color of things. And you're making observations and making connections about the things that live together or the things that influence each other. We were looking at some leaves today that had lots of holes in them, and the kids and I were talking about, where do you think those holes came from in those leaves? So nature journaling is a fun activity. It can be as simple as taking a blank sheet of paper, computer paper or construction paper, and just taking it out on a clipboard or even on a book, and sitting down and spending a few minutes and just really looking and observing at something and trying to capture that by drawing it. Now here's another fun idea. Take some string. This is called square foot observations. And you're gonna take off about 4 feet of string. And sorry, my scissors are all the way over there. And you're gonna give each student a piece of string, or your child, and then just tie a knot so that it becomes like a big circle. Now when you go out in the garden, instead of, maybe it's too overwhelming to look at everything all at once, now you can lay this down in one area of your garden. You can make it any shape you want, and it can be even smaller if you want. And now you're going to look at just the items that are within this string, in this square foot. And you're going to make observations and see what all is growing there. You might be surprised at what all is in your yard. You think it's just grass, but there's lots of other kinds of little plants and weeds growing there too. I bet you'll find some roly-poly bugs and some ants trooping across the corner somewhere. Maybe they are sticks or pine cones. It's kind of fun to see what you find in just 1 square foot of your yard. And using a string like that can be kind of a fun way to observe more carefully. So I hope that you will enjoy going outside and really looking at nature and the beauty that's out there. It is a wonderful classroom. Just because we're home on the computer doesn't mean we can't go outside and enjoy learning something new every day, right outside at your back door. love it if you would share with me some of your observations. So we have a new hashtag JCRA Storytime. And if you've taken a picture of something or you've made a drawing and you want to take a picture of it and send it to us, we would love to see the observations you're making outside. We hope to see you soon. Bye for now.